Tonight, reports of violent fight between students sent Broken Hill High School into lockdown, and how our region celebrated a race that stops the nation, the Melbourne Cup.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. There are reports Broken Hill High School was forced into lockdown after a violent fight between students. Southern Cross News understands it comes amid an escalating bullying culture at the campus. Patrick Reinke has the details.
Broken Hill High School regularly undergoes lockdown rehearsals in preparation for emergencies, but the most recent incident here was no drill. Southern Cross News understands students were locked in their classrooms after what was described as a massive fight breaking out among young pupils 2 weeks ago. The Department of Education has confirmed a brief lockdown took place at Broken Hill High, and it was the only time, apart from rehearsals, that such an incident had occurred this year. But brief wasn't the word students were using, with the lockdown reportedly lasting for almost an hour. It's understood police officers were called to the campus. There are many reports among students of other similar incidents coming from the school, including one that teachers had been involved in at least one altercation. In a statement to Southern Cross News, the Department of Education said Broken Hill High School has zero tolerance for fighting, bullying and other aggressive behaviour, and would discipline students accordingly. The Teachers' Union did not confirm any of the reports, but it's believed the matter will be brought up at the monthly union meeting this week.
Patrick Reinke reporting in Broken Hill there. An operation to prevent deliberately lit fires during this year's fire danger season is now underway. SA Police's Operation Nomad will mean a greater presence of officers in the region's high-risk bushfire areas.
There's no doubt it's easier to start a fire than to put one out. Like the rest of SA's local policing areas, Port Augusta patrols will be on the lookout for firebugs.
The other side of those is to be aware of what you're doing. You know, people using power tools that emit sparks on a fire danger day, driving through or parking a vehicle with a hot exhaust in long grass. So although we sometimes have deliberately lit fires, there are many other ways which fires can start through quite innocent means, but we're asking the public to be aware of those as well. Hand
in hand with fire services, they've launched Operation Nomad in a crackdown on arson.
Prevention is always better than the cure. The more we can prevent fires, the less damage, the least impost that goes onto the community, so the prevention is a very important part of the emergency services.
The Port Augusta Police say residents can expect a greater presence of officers over this year's fire danger season.
And police contribute by being out and about on high risk days, patrols through areas of high fire danger.
They're urging the public to speak up if something doesn't look right.
What we do ask is that the public are vigilant, keep an eye out for any suspicious behaviour, perhaps vehicles parked in locations where they wouldn't normally, people who don't tend to fit in with surroundings.
Residents are being urged to be on the lookout for people acting unusually or not being dressed for an outdoor walk.
Police operations, it relies heavily on information from members of the public, so what we're asking, I guess, is that people be aware of what's going on.
Anyone with information on arson is being urged to contact police. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Well, Melbourne Cup Day has seen many events spring into action across the region, and it seems the birdcage in Port Pirie was the place to be. People came from near and far to enjoy a day out with the ladies and watch the race. Rachel Nell was there.
It's the race that stops the nation, and it was a massive day here in the birdcage. The ladies were out in their best frocks and fascinators, and there were plenty of bets being placed. Cheers!
For the lucky ones who weren't working, the event was a perfect opportunity for the girls to get together.
Today we've got a group of girls from Port Broughton here, and one of our girlfriends, it's her first Melbourne Cup Day because she's normally working, so we're really celebrating.
A fun get together with the girls. We try and do it every year, and it's always good to dress up and have fun and catch up.
It's a nice day to hang out with the girls and, hopefully back a winner.
Many ladies opting for the headband look this year for Port Pirie's very own Fashion on the Field.
The headband's just cute. I mean, we're not really outside at the races, so it's like just a cute little addition to the outfit.
Quite functional to do it on a headband. It was probably the easiest way to do it.
The drinks were flowing all afternoon.
A bit more upbeat, fun, very social. And I think we've really embraced what the Melbourne Cup is all about.
Many punters hoping to back a winner.
Hoping to win the Melbourne Cup because I've never won it before, So hoping today is my big day and I will win.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
After the break, one of our top cops calls it a day in the region. Who'll be replacing him? We'll bring you that story next. After it was closed to the public last month, Port Augusta's ailing Be Active Centre is now ready to be demolished. With the centre's activities relocated around town, Council says it could reuse the land for another hive of activity.
Rust, cobwebs and a deteriorating structure was no place for a gym. Council making the call to demolish Port Augusta's long-standing Be Active Centre.
At its end of life, hopefully we've satisfied everybody there that we've moved them into areas that they can still be active.
Built in 1980, it served as Port Augusta's YMCA building until 2009, before Council decided forking out thousands of dollars each year for upkeep wasn't worthwhile.
And we were spending on average around $10,000 per annum to try to keep it up to where it was, but it wasn't enough.
As a part of cost-saving measures around town, Council says those pricey repair funds could be used elsewhere.
We're trying to be smarter and use the assets we have that exist and build different groups into multi-use of those.
Gymnastics, kinder gym and even yoga were once part of this much-loved hive of activity, and they've now been moved to other centres around town. Council says it plans to demolish the centre before the end of the year, and that this community land could be used for other places for residents to be active.
And that was our main concern. The building has been approved by Council in late September to be demolished. Tenders are in place for that now. Once those tenders are approved, then they'll go forward and we'll remove the building. And that land will become the community-based land, and it will be looked in future possibly for playgrounds and things like that for community-based activities.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
A major mining company says its flagship project could become Broken Hill's next big mine by the end of the decade. Following a recent name change, Carpentaria Exploration, now known as Carpentaria Resources, says its Horsens Iron project is now a global leader for iron ore. Positive results from its pre-feasibility study show a net present value of $1.4 billion. Steelmakers from the Middle East and Asia are already lining up to buy the super-grade ore. The company is now looking at conducting a feasibility study with an aim to be in production before the Japan Olympics in 2020. Port Augusta's MFS is urging all motorists crossing the Joybaluk Bridge to keep calm and carry on when an emergency vehicle is behind them. It comes after a number of incidents on the bridge, including one yesterday when a panicked driver stopped their car in front of a fire truck on its way to an emergency.
We've even taken the steps where we approach the bridge and we turn all the emergency warning devices off just to get across to the other side, and then we'll reactivate them to get through the intersections.
While motorists are unable to safely overtake cars with only 2 lanes of traffic on the bridge, the MFS says drivers should cross as normal.
What we do urge people to do is just continue on, and once they get to the other side of the bridge, then allow us to overtake in a safe manner.
Well, after 5 years, Scott Denny is stepping down as the officer in charge of the York and Mid-North Policing region of South Australia. The superintendent is heading to Adelaide to further his career, but not before training up some new talent.
Superintendent Damien Powell, the new officer in charge of our region. With over 10 years of experience in serious and complex crimes in Adelaide, Superintendent Powell is now looking forward to the opportunities here in the Mid-North.
Returning to grassroots policing, where I can take an active role in working with the community to ensure that we are safe and prepared for the emergencies that may follow, particularly in the fire danger season.
He takes over from Scott Denny, who's been the chief in the region since 2013.
There is a very thorough handover, and so that I'm well informed and positioned to actually do and carry on the good work that he's done in the last 5 years.
He certainly is the right man for the job, and as I said before, with his wealth of experience, I couldn't think of anyone better that I'd like to hand the position over to, and he will certainly fit in well with the local community of Port Pirie.
Superintendent Powell says he's excited for the challenges ahead.
So I'll now pass on to Superintendent Powell, who will take over the good work and certainly work with the staff to keep the community safe.
I'm looking forward to giving the best I can to the community.
Officer Denny isn't packing up his bags just yet, though. He'll still be in the region helping the new chief settle into his role. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Whalers Council and the Chamber of Commerce have teamed up with the local RDA to lobby defence contractors on opportunities for local businesses. The groups say the city needs to be more proactive to secure work in the lucrative industry.
Billions of dollars of work in defence is on offer through the construction of new submarines and frigates in Adelaide, while a council wants our city to secure that work, saying it's a key step to navigating away from a one-industry economy.
It's about ensuring that we do all we can to diversify our economy. So we need to strike while the iron's hot.
Council, the RDA and Chamber of Commerce recently fired a shot across the bow. They travelled to Adelaide for meetings with Defence Industry Minister Martin Hamilton-Smith on the subject. They also visited the home of Adelaide's defence industry.
Understanding what is happening within Techport, what is potentially going to happen around defence and the production of the subs and other vessels.
Mr Hayes says while Weiler has a strong skill set, it needs to understand what the industry is looking for.
What are the real internal nitty-gritties of everything? Then we have a better chance of actually placing businesses into that arena.
The RDA says businesses will eventually have more information once the process opens up. It says the next step is building the contacts and relationships to keep abreast of what's happening.
Engagement with businesses in Adelaide and with potential customers in Adelaide to find out exactly what their requirements are.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
After the break here on Southern Cross News, a warning from the RSPCA in Broken Hill to look out for our furry friends as the mercury rises. Well, as we head into summer and temperatures start to rise, the Broken Hill RSPCA has a word of warning for pet owners. It says hot weather can be deadly for our four-legged friends and is urging residents to keep an eye on them as the mercury climbs.
With temperatures set to climb by the end of the week, we'll be looking at ways to stay cool. But it'll also pay to spare a thought for our furry friends.
People don't even realise the dog is suffering heat exhaustion until they've got them home.
For many, walking the dog is routine exercise, but as we head into a hot summer, it can become dangerous. The RSPCA says bringing water along for your canine friend is a must, and pet owners should reduce the distance they walk.
Try not to do it in the extreme heat of the day, because when you're walking, it is really hot on their feet and they will come down with heat exhaustion if you are out there too long in the heat.
Warmer weather also sees an increase of snake sightings, another possible risk for our pets.
A dog can't tell the difference between a snake and a lizard, and they normally are quite happy to try and follow it up because they have no idea of the really bad intentions the snake has.
At home, it's important to have plenty of water both inside and outside, as well as plenty of shade for them to beat the heat. Setting up a miniature outdoor pool for your dog and putting ice cubes in your pet's water bowl are just some handy tips.
They will be flat and they will be puffing and they will be trying to cool themselves down, but they can't seem to. So if they have any problems, please come out to the RSPCA or give us a phone call and we can help them from there.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
To sport now, and in Port Perry basketball, the Pacers are setting the pace early in the men's A grade after a big win over the Ducks. The 40-point win keeps them on the top of the table, 2 games clear of the rest of the league. John Hunt joins us now. John, it's early days, but they are looking like strong premiership contenders.
Yeah, they are, Fraser. The Pacers remain undefeated and sit 2 games clear ahead of the rest of the pack just 3 games into the season. They showed the Ducks they mean business with a massive first half, securing the win. The Pacers led 32-9 at the main break, extending their lead throughout the second half to record a 75-35 win. Austin Munzberg led the way with 21 points for the winners, while Rusty O'Donnell was a lone hand for the Ducks with 20 points. In the other men's match, the Globetrotters overcame the Tomcats by 17 points, Adam Kapush scoring a game-high 21 points. In the women's, the Globetrotters had a narrow win over the Tomcats, while 14 points each from Millie Tubb and Andrea Tyler helped the Patriots edge out out the Pacers 49-37. To Whyalla, and in the women's A grade, Demons won hand-end win over Rapina by the narrowest of margins, while Titans were too strong for Demons 2 in a 34-21 win. While in the men's comp, Wildcats were too strong for the Demons, while Rapina had a close win over Bevan to go 4 from 4 this season. And down in Port Lincoln's men's comp, Peckers Green had a 2-point win over the Sharks, Peckers Yellow defeated Rangers Blue, and Rangers White were too strong for Lincoln South. Some tennis scores from Broken Hill, and the top spins cruise plaster volleys. The drop shots narrowly beat the forehands, and Nathan Crabb and Peter Clark led the backhands to a win over the Swallows. And finally, some softball and baseball from Whyalla. In softball, the Eagles had a thumping win over the Tigers, while the Indians edged out the Roadrunners. And in baseball, a draw. After 9 innings, the Roadrunners and Tigers couldn't be split at 3 apiece. So that's all the sport this week. Cricket Tips will be back Friday, and then we'll be back with all the results on Monday and Tuesday. And if you've got sports results for us, drop us a line at localsport@sca.com.au.
Thanks, John. John Hunt reporting there. Well, stay with us. After the break, we'll have all the local weather details. Welcome back to your weather now. A lovely day right across the region. Seeing the temperature begin to climb again in Port Augusta for 25, 29 the top in Port Pirie today, dipping down slightly in Whyalla to 22, 19 in Port Lincoln, and looking like a sunny day in Adelaide for 25. On the satellite, cloud forming across the far northern SA in a weak trough is causing the odd shower and storm. On the Gulf waters, winds will be southeasterly tomorrow, up to 20 knots, seas peaking at 1.5 metres. Sunrise will be just before 6:15, sunset closer to 8 o'clock at 7:52. Blue skies will continue tomorrow, even warmer in Port Augusta for 30, 29 in Port Pirie, reaching a top of 27 in Whyalla and Kadina, heading for a max of 25 in Clare. Sunny weather on the way for Adelaide as well, 25 the top there. Looking ahead now, it's sliding towards a top of 29 in Port Lincoln to kick off the weekend. Warm in Cleve as well, seeing the temp move above 30-degree mark from Thursday. And in Woodner, a bit of cloud will set in Saturday after a few days of fine weather. A similar story for Whyalla and Port Augusta, seeing a top of 36 degrees on Friday, and the good weather continuing right through till the weekend in Kadina. And finally in Port Pirie, it'll be a good day to get out on the water Saturday for 35. Pretty warm in Clare as well for 31 Friday, and plenty of blue skies on the way in Broken Hill. Looking very nice. And that's all the news to now. Thanks for your company. I'll have some updates a little later on tonight. Until then though, enjoy your evening. Good night.